At times in life, we may experience a sense of being lost and disconnected from ourselves or the person we want to become. And rediscovering oneself as an adult can be challenging, overwhelming, and quite frustrating. However, it's crucial to recognize that relying on others to resolve this problem for us is not a viable solution. The responsibility falls solely on us to figure out who we are, what makes us tick, and what we value more than anything else. And if we don't, we run the risk of living an unfulfilled adult life. But don't worry, my friend, I've got you. Here's my 4-step process for rediscovering or reinventing yourself in adulthood. Step 1, disconnect. While I believe that there is a time and a place for focused work and being busy, we should not neglect the importance of disconnecting between our kids, work, social activities, home responsibilities, building a side hustle, and the list goes on and on. Finding time to focus on ourselves is not easy with a busy schedule. My solution, disconnect from the many distractions we have in life. But it's more than that, right? It's also about disconnecting from the excuses we tell ourselves that then turn into the laundry list of limiting beliefs we struggle to overcome. Uh-oh. I think I hit the nail on the head with that statement. Raise your hand in the comments if you feel what I'm saying. Now, I'm saying this with tough love because I've witnessed it in my own life. But see, here's what I've learned. Disconnecting from distractions and excuses, in my experience, has disabled the power of influence. Okay, what do you mean by that? I'll tell you right now. All of the various distractions in our life, whether you've noticed it yet or not, have control over our attention. This is why we feel disconnected from ourselves. This is why at times it feels like we're in a tug of war with life, because all of these different signals are going off and begging for our attention, right? Telling us to go here, to look over there, to do this or to do that. And the same thing is true for the excuses we give. Our excuses have control over our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And you know what this does? It paralyzes our actions. See, when we disconnect, this means our time and attention are no longer being divided, and therefore we can focus on rediscovering ourselves in adulthood. And there are 2 questions that I've challenged myself with that I'm going to ask you to challenge yourself with as well. And those questions are, number 1, where's my life taking me? And number 2, where do I go from here? Where's my life taking me? And where do I go from here? And before I was able to answer those questions, I found it best to check in with my values, just to make sure I don't end up traveling a path I don't want to be on or am tempted to do something that is completely against my beliefs and values. So if you need support finding your values, I have a core values worksheet that you can download. Just go to ronaldlbanks.com/values and I'll walk you through the process. Step 2, pay attention. One of the greatest skills I've mastered in my personal life is being observant of myself and paying attention to my interests and curiosities. Taking a step back and disconnecting from our distractions and excuses allows us to pay attention to those important things, right? To be observant of ourselves, because as adults, we tend to give or have given so much of ourselves to everything and everyone else, work, friendships and relationships, our kids, if we have any, that we struggle to find something that's just for us. But how could we if we don't take the time to pay attention? You see, earning a living, sharing our life with others, and raising our family are blessings and things we should undoubtedly be grateful for. But understanding what makes us tick and our genuine interests are vital to rediscovering and reinventing ourselves in adulthood. Now that I have a son of my own, I have been wondering about what he may be interested in doing when he gets older. Because right now he is so curious, it's amazing to witness. And as I think back to when I was a kid, I'm certain that I was just as curious, but I remember the adults in my life asking me, what do I want to be? Or what do I want to do when I grow up? As a matter of fact, let us know down in the comments how you answered that question when you were a kid. But for me, that question led me to think about my interests, the things that really made me tick at that moment in my life. But as I started to age and grow older, and some of those realities of life start to settle in, it was almost like I stopped thinking about those questions. Maybe because I wasn't being asked as often, right? And that tends to happen as we grow older. But regardless of the reason, it's important that we find our way back to this headspace where we are constantly thinking about and paying attention to our interests and curiosities. What do I want to be? What do I want to do when I grow up? Or a better set of questions for this stage of life is, where is my life taking me and where do I go from here? Step 3, pursue something. If you start paying attention as I suggest, you will uncover a hefty list of interests you have that you never took the time to pursue. Well, consider this permission to do so. Being an adult doesn't mean the fun stops. I'm going to say that again in case you tuned out. Being an adult doesn't mean the fun stops. Now, of course, we need to take care of our responsibilities, right? I'm not suggesting that we go rogue and start behaving childishly or in ways that are opposite of how a mature adult should carry themselves. There may be seasons where we have to sacrifice or delay the things we want, but that doesn't mean the fun stops. The days of neglecting your interests and curiosities ends today, my friend. Here's what I want you to do. Pick something you're interested in, pursue it, and give it time to see if it works out. That's it. Pick something you're interested in, pursue it, and give it time to see if it works out. The beauty of this is that just because you pursue something, it doesn't mean you have to commit to it. And if it doesn't work out, at the very least, you still gained experience from trying. And as adults, gaining those micro experiences of pursuing things we have an interest in and things we're curious about is how we rediscover and reinvent ourselves. Step 4, prioritize. Eventually, those micro experiences from picking something you're interested in, pursuing it, and giving it time to see if it works out will lead to one or two things that stick. When you find them, the key is to prioritize them. Remember, it's easy to get caught up in the responsibilities of adult life and lose sight of the person we are. We want to avoid that, right? Then the way we do that is by prioritizing. See, pursuing our interests gives us purpose. This is the jumpstart we need as adults. But prioritizing our interests is our way of making a commitment to ourselves. You know what happens when we do this? Lean in for a second. We begin to live a fulfilling adult life. Whew, right? Okay, let's quickly recap. Step 1, disconnect from distractions and excuses. Step 2, pay attention to your genuine interests and curiosities. Think about those questions you were asked as a kid. What do you want to be? What do you want to do when you grow up? Or better yet, challenge yourself with these questions instead. Where's my life taking me and where do I go from here? Step 3, pursue something. Pick something you're interested in, pursue it, and give it time to see if it works out. And step 4, prioritize. Once you find that thing that sticks, prioritize it. Make that commitment to yourself and don't divert from that path. Promise me something. Once you rediscover yourself, promise me that you are always going to stay true to yourself. All right? Keep growing on your journey, my friend. Keep learning. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.